Dear listeners, do you dream in Technicolor? I dream in black and white, and my dreams are all variations on a theme. Like tonight. Tonight I dreamed I was walking through the downtown of my city during the wee small hours of the morning. Everything was closed, and the place was deserted. The only sound I was aware of, at first, was the slap of my shoes on the sidewalk. But then I heard another sound, the sound of something scraping across the cold concrete. I spun around to find the source of the noise and saw the Mummy Man. Saw the Mummy Man was stalking me. Beware, beware the Mummy Man. You all know the Mummy Man, for that was our name for him when we were kids. You've seen him, even his Aztec cousin, on the Late Late Show. Tall, one-eyed, and covered by dirty gauze, a bandage trailing behind him like a stream of loose toilet paper. He, or it, held its right arm out, its hand ready to take you by the throat in order to strangle you. On the Late Late Show, particularly in the old Universal horror films starring Lon Chaney Jr., the mummy shuffled after his victim, moving as if drunk, exhausted, or suffering from serious arthritis. But like the Mounties, he always got his man, or victim. My initial reaction was, he'll never catch me. But then I remembered, no matter how slowly he moved, the mummy always caught his victim and caught them by the throat. So I ran. I know it sounds foolish, but I ran like hell. After several blocks I turned, only to find the mummy behind me, and the exact same distance behind me. How could he plod along like that and still keep up with me? I continued running, full tilt. I kept to well-lit streets. In an earlier nightmare, I tried running through an alley, only to find it was a dead end. And when the mummy came shuffling up behind me, I was dead. Suddenly I spotted my car, parked at the curb below a streetlight. I threw myself towards it and managed to open my door when a rough hand with an iron grip closed around my throat and began choking the life out of me. It was the mummy. How did he get here? I blacked out, only to wake up in my own bed, soaked with sweat and shaking with fear. On another night, I dreamed I was walking through the darkened corridors of the Natural History Museum. It was after hours, and I was alone. I might have been a security guard, I guess. As I made my way through the bowels of the lower level, I heard a shuffling sound behind me, and looking back at the far end of the corridor, I made out the dim figure of the mummy, and he was on my trail. I knew where the exit was, and I didn't waste any time heading for it. And as I hurried past the dinosaurs and prehistoric animals, I kept turning around, and each time I did, the mummy had drawn ever closer. I began to run. The exit was at the far end of the Egyptian section, and I was running through it when a mummy case cracked open, and he was right there in front of me, taking me by the throat with his iron hand and squeezing. Lights out. But these were only nightmares. In reality, I was safe at home and in bed. I was thinking about getting up for a drink of water when I heard a noise out in the hall. A shuffling noise. I pinched myself. I was indeed awake. Someone or something was in the house. The mummy loomed in my bedroom doorway. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And my only weapon, the only weapon that came to hand, was a pillow? The mummy stumbled over to the bed, his hand poised to strangle me. Then, in abject terror, I blurted, "What do you want?" He opened his dry mouth, emitting a noisome stench that almost finished me where I lay. Then, in a faint, ghostly whisper, he said, "Have you got any bandages?" I reeled in shock. "You've been chasing me all these nightmares? For bandages?" Oh well, it could have been a whole lot worse. At least he didn't say, "Tag, you're it." The moral of the story? Mummy always said to keep a supply of bandages at hand, for being unable to find a Band-Aid when you're bleeding all over the place can be a real mother. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost and horror stories. Original ghost and horror stories. This October, I thought I would present stories featuring such classic monsters as vampires and werewolves, and now the Mummy Man, in honor of Halloween. Please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed today's story. And till midnight, and till Halloween, cheers. Pictures used in today's video, courtesy of Pix here, that's PX here, while the music was the classic Ghost Processional by that patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod.